Hello, my name is Clayton. I just wanted to make this video to tell my story. Now, just to preface this video a little bit, it's not going to be like any other Ruin Your Day video that we've done before. It's not part of a series or anything like that. I just feel like I haven't really told how I got here. I just kind of popped up one day and no explanation or anything like that. So I think it's a pretty interesting story and there's a lot to take away from it. If I can spread the message, we could all win. So where do we begin? As of right now, I am 22 years old. I am editor, cameraman, co-owner of Ruin Your Day. I work with King of the Dot, travel all over the continent to shoot rap battles. And it's been super fun so far, but definitely the road less traveled. Now, how I started out in this field is a story in itself, so we can just dive right into that. We'll start back to when I was in high school, all of 4 or 5 years ago. I went to high school in southern Tulsa, Oklahoma. Not a super artsy town, but big enough. I had always watched battle rap. I was always into hip hop, but never in a million years did I think that I was going to be able to potentially do something with that interest. I had always been interested in film and just creating. There wasn't really many outlets to apply that in my hometown, so I didn't really know the correct avenue to take. When it came time to graduate and the questions came up about what majors do you want to take, what college are you going to go to, yada yada yada, I did the typical thing of saying, well, I'm going to do engineering or whatever makes me the most money the quickest, and that's all that matters, and I just want money now and blah 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 blah. But I took a step back and thought to myself, grand scheme, what do I want in life? What interests me? What could I do every day that wouldn't seem to be a chore, something that I would be eager to learn? So the first thing that popped into my mind was film. Now, I hadn't done much with film up until then. I was kind of like the token dude in my high school to go if you wanted something filmed, mainly because there was like so few people that did that. I don't know how you would describe it, but I shot music videos for the one rapper in my school, and I kind of got voluntold to shoot senior videos, homecoming videos, graduation videos. Pretty much any video that the school needed made, they would come to me and kind of pass the baton off. So although my experience was very minimal, I knew that there was a necessity for it, and I knew that I could do it, whatever facet that might be. So when choosing my major, I was going to a community college in Tulsa, so you had a lot to choose from, right? There happened to be a filmmaking one, so I was like, all right, let's try that out. Didn't really know what to expect, but jumped right into it thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna be making movies, we're gonna be hiring actors and just doing all this crazy stuff that you see on behind the scenes of feature films. But I was very wrong. I was a little naive to think that we were just going to jump straight into the goods, but the classes I took were pretty draining and pretty unmotivating, demotivating, whatever the word is. I was in a class with a bunch of people that overanalyzed images, and it was all about film theory and, oh, the blinds are open, that signifies some foreshadowing and all that. We never once touched a camera. We never once learned about a setting on a camera, aperture, frames per second, anything like that. We never had anything to do with that. It was all about the artsy side, and I just thought to myself, if these are the people that I'm going to be working with the rest of my life, man, I'm going to keel over. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it was coming quick. So I had to make a decision on whether I was going to keep pursuing this and whether there was a spot for me in the world for this position. I kind of made the logical choice, which is to quit and join the military. I was at least prepared enough to know that I shouldn't stay on the path that I was staying on. And whether the jump was big or small, I needed to jump, I needed to leave, I needed a drastic change. There's no better change than the military. So I joined the Air Force at 19. 3 months prior to joining the Air Force, I got married. Not 3 months, 3 weeks. I left for the military in July of 2014. I was gone for about 8 months for training. And when I joined the military, there were a lot of reasons why I joined. Mainly just a change, immediate change. Maybe the change of scenery would open my mind to maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I like something else. It would realign my priorities. It would just get me back into thinking as me, no homegrown distractions, no people telling me what I should or shouldn't do in regards to my future, and just making the first big choice for myself. Joining the military did that, but it did it in kind of a backwards way. I joined hoping that I fell in love with it, because I mean, military's not going anywhere, you know how to succeed. It's all laid out. There's a blueprint for it all. It's been done millions of times, but it didn't, the cards didn't fall that way. It actually inspired me to push towards filmmaking even more. I realized how much I valued individuality, free thinking outside the box, and trying something different. All are not qualities of the military, the exact opposite of the military. They have the in-the-box mentality. It just really solidified the fact that I knew what I wanted to do and I needed to pursue that. So wrapping back, I remember there was like a pretty defining moment when I was in tech school after boot camp. I mean, I was like every other fan watching YouTube videos, and I think there was a trailer that came out. I can't remember which one, but I was thinking to myself, like, this is so corny. Man, I would love to just be able to make something like that and create for a living, do something different every time. I don't even know where to begin though. I've watched videos on filmmaking 101, how to start filmmaking business, how to get hired as a filmmaker, blah, blah, blah. And every suggestion was different. You would hear suggestions on, just buy an expensive camera, and if you're talented, you'll get hired, or go to film school and you're gonna network and meet people and yada, yada, or just intern somewhere, and if they like you. But like every place gave a different avenue towards the same goal. So I was super confused on where to even begin, let alone where to end. So I kind of took a leap of faith, and that leap of faith defined my path up until now. I looked at all the people that I followed on YouTube and on other platforms, why I followed them and what I liked about their product. And I found their contact information, and I emailed each one of them saying, hey, how'd you get to where you are? Did you go to film school? Did you just get lucky? Are you just talented? Or I don't know. I just need to know where to begin. And I emailed probably 3 or 4 people. One of those people includes Avocado from King of the Dot. I was a huge King of the Dot fan. I mean, his product speaks for itself. I never even expected to get a response. Everybody's probably got way more important things than to answer random fans on the internet asking for advice. And to a certain extent that was true, because the only person that actually emailed me back was Avocado. And he emailed me back a pretty lengthy email telling me the path he took. He went to film school, but not necessarily advocates to go to film school. It was a different time when he went to film school than now, and he just really took time to help me out. And I thought that was crazy, just the fact that this guy that I've been watching for years responded to me. At that moment, I wasn't really able to ask if I could help out or intern or volunteer, but I picked his brain a little bit more on what strategy I should follow. He gave me some words of advice, and that's all we could really do with it. I mean, I had 4 or 5 months left in tech school. I was ball and chain. I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do events, that was out of the question. I mean, it was kind of more leading me on than anything. But anyways, time passed. I think that was like November time frame when we had talked, or I'd emailed, and kind of like skipped my mind. You know, I was busy just trying to make sure I make it through the military training for like my family and obviously all that stuff. I had prior commitments. But then when I moved from training in Texas to getting stationed in Louisiana, where I am currently stationed. I think I got here March of 2015, so about 9 months after I had left. My wife moved down, all that. Once we got settled and got our bearings straight, kind of realized the difference between the training environment and operational environment. My thought process still didn't change. My heart was still where it had always been, even more deeply ingrained on what I wanted to do and how I'm going to do it. I think in April, they started dropping trailers on King of the Dot for Massacre 1, which, if you remember, Massacre 1 was Pat Stay Calico, supposed to be Shoddy versus Arsenal rematch. They put a lot of time and effort into that project alone. It was a new thing. Nakaya had started up this series, and I remember just a light bulb clicking on my head and being like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, is basically the gist of the story he gave me. So I reached out one more time, not thinking he would remember me or anything. And I said, hey, like, I see Massacres coming up. If there's a way, I have some editing experience. If you want to send me footage, I can maybe take that burden off your shoulders. I know you're already doing a lot, blah, blah, blah. He hit me back saying, I mean, if you want to fly up here, you can help set stuff up. You could always use an extra hand. And I was thinking to myself, like, damn, like, I didn't expect that. And I was the first time since I had joined the military that I was in a position where I could do something like that. I said, all right, I mean, it's an investment, you know, so I offered to pay my way out to Boston to help with Massacre 1, and I did. I flew out there. I met Avocado, and I met people that I've been watching for years. It was kind of surreal, just like seeing these people that you had only seen on screens for so long, just chopping it up. It was just surreal. And I mean, I had no idea what they expected from me. I had no idea what was going to happen after the event. I didn't know if this was like a one and done type deal. I kind of went a little overboard that event. I picked their brains like hardcore, and I was asking every question I could, because I didn't know if this was going to be the only time I'd ever get to work with these people. I need to know as much as I can in a short amount of time. And as much as that was good for me, it was kind of like kind of did more harm than good. And I kind of not overstepped my bounds, but I just came off like really too eager. Like I just needed to do step 1 before I jumped to step 5. You know, I was just carrying bags and setting up barricades, doing all the in-between time-consuming stuff. And it was fun. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. And then the event was over. That was that. And I was thinking, well, damn, mark that off my bucket list, move on. And then Avocado reaches back out to me and says if I want to edit the footage, I can. So I was like, holy smokes. It was a huge responsibility on my shoulders, but I mean, I did it, and it was super rewarding and like still surreal. And we worked like hand in hand pretty much from May 2015 up until now. I remember after Massacre, they started the Back to the Basics series. I helped them edit for that. And then World Domination 5 came up in Toronto a couple months later. I offered to pay my way out for that again. Every event, they just gave me a little more responsibility. This time I can shoot some stuff if I want to put it up. Like, we'll see what we have and blah, blah, blah. If I want to help interview fans, interview talent, giving me little bits at a time, not just throwing me straight to the wolves. And I did that. I mean, I learned a little bit of everything from each event. I learned something new every time. Literally after that event, I mean, I kind of felt that I knew what was expected. And after that, I mean, we went from there to Back to Basics 3, Diz vs. Jonai, and every event, a little more responsibility, a little more responsibility, a little more responsibility. Blackout 6 came, and they offered me if I wanted to shoot a battle, I could. And I was like nervous as hell. I was like, sure, I mean, you gotta learn sometime. So the very first battle I actually shot was Pass versus Bishop Brigante. I was like sweating bullets, telling me to get closer, loosen up, and because when you're in the battle, like everyone's fluid and everyone's moving around all the time, I can't afford to be stiff and just like rigid. Slowly but surely, I learned the ropes. It's still surreal. I mean, it's still going. I'm still learning. Nobody is finished. Nobody is done growing. Nobody is done learning. Nobody should think that they're done. For the people that stayed to listen to this whole damn story on how I got involved, I think this message can relate to you in some way. I think we all have some sort of dream that we're chasing. Not all paths are set in stone right in front of you. There's not blueprints for every dream. A lot of dreams, that's why they are that, because no one's ever done them before and no one's ever taken the risk before, and you're the first one that's wanting to do this or that or wanting to shoot for the stars, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Honestly, I don't know what I would be doing right now if I was still sitting in tech school and decided to just still be a consumer and not a creator, and still try to think that I know everything. I've learned a lot by taking that leap of faith. And whatever leap of faith you need to take, I suggest you take it, whether it be simple enough to reach out to somebody like I did. You never know what's going to come of the little moves that you make. I just wanted to make this video to try to tell my story and help you guys familiarize yourselves with who I am and where I came from and where we are going. Whatever you want to be a part of, whatever you aspire to be, tomorrow is not the day to work towards it. It's today. Don't regret not doing it. But thanks for the support. I hope to see you guys soon at future events, and keep dreaming.